Alright, we are back. Oh god. We are back. It's been a while, but I'm here, and I'm ready to continue the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I don't really recall last where we left off. I just know that... Yeah, we're defending a client that we've already defended before. Also. Alright. So, the victim may not be well off, but he's a noble man. And straight up, there's no reason to doubt the man.
Well, I do declare the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid.
Just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese, stoops all the while, and has a mustache. Very fishy.
There's no evidence to suggest that the gangling actor is a fraudsman. For now, at least.
I really don't care, I just need the trial to end quickly.
3 hours of missing time. It's nothing when you reach my age, you know. Nothing at all.
Also, if I sound weird, I'm a little sick. That's why. So, I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced.
It would seem that all the jurors have come to the conclusion that Mr. Shamspear is a fine, upstanding, and honest citizen?
If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by his strange theatrical movements.
And sadly, nothing Mr. Natsume has said appears to have registered at all.
Well, here goes. Let's not forget. Pleaded with the jury on Suseki-san's behalf before and it worked, so you never know.
Before we begin, it might be an idea for me to remind you exactly how a summation examination works, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh.
Well, you're still very new to British law, after all.
That's true, I suppose. And Suseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands right now, too. There's always a chance I might have forgotten some crucial details. Perhaps I should hear Susato. I wonder, should I let her talk me through it again? Or not bother? Nah, I'm good. Thank you for the kind offer, Miss Susato. But I've been through plenty of these summation examinations already. Yeah. I think it's important that we don't delay the start any longer than necessary.
Of course, I understand. And I'm quite sure you're right. If you're confused by anything at any point, you can turn to me for advice whenever you like. I'll be here for you.
Alright, so the key to this is really listening carefully to each juror's statement. Finding two that contradictory and pitting the corresponding jurors against each other. Without further ado, please, counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, that's right, these two bomb heads.
Hold it!
Well, there are plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? I have no doubts about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example. Absolutely not. Mr. Natsume is no liar. Look, the point is, the only thing that passed the victim's lips that night was that Japanese man's tea. When you take the gas man's testimony into account as well, truth couldn't be any clearer. Well, that's alarmingly logical. Let me be frank here. I'm a gentleman with a gentleman's values. If it turns out that the old Shakespearean chum is a rotten liar after all, I'd gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow gentlemen on the jury would do the same. Isn't that right? Well, yes, perhaps, though I don't see it happening.
Hey, what's that? Elderly judge on the end here, you know. You'll have to speak up.
Look, I really don't care about all this nonsense. Just need the trial over. How many gentlemen do we actually have on the jury, then? Alright, sir. I may hold you to that. Don't forget what you said. Alright.
Hold it!
Are you saying you believe the man to be trustworthy because he's rather splendid?
No, that's not what I said. The point is, the man is the victim here. What reason would he have to lie? And yes, He is rather splendid.
So you say, yet again.
Meanwhile, the man who stands accused behaves so suspiciously, it's exhausting to look at him. I'm afraid he's not splendid at all.
Splendid logic there, ma'am. Thank you so much. Just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese. Alright. No, not one of those things is a reason to find the man guilty. But he is fishy. There's no point dancing around the fact. He's Japanese. He has a mustache and he stoops. You see, you arrive at the conclusion in just 3 steps. 3 steps. Like a waltz, in fact. You know, the more I think about it, the more this trial seems like a dance. You seem to be several steps ahead of yourself, though. And you're on the wrong foot. No, there's nothing but circumstantial evidence here. There's no actual proof of the defendant's guilt. But the victim's versions of events is backed up by what the big-chinned man next to him says, isn't it? 1, he saw the Japanese man there. 2, he saw no one else. And 3, he saw the Japanese man there. Oh, that's another 3 steps. Well, this really does seem more and more like a waltz, doesn't it? Right, and the prosecution will waltz its way to victory if I let you speak and much more. A fraudsman? What do you mean by that, madam? It really is most tiresome problem for the company. Most irritating. We can be absolutely certain that a customer is stealing from us, but without hard evidence. We can't even threaten to take action for fear of being sued. I'm sorry, you've lost me a little there. Who are you? I'm the wife of Augustus Altamont, owner of the Altamont Gas Company. Good gracious, Altamont Gas, you say? Gas is the future of the energy in this country and around the globe, but proper handling is essential. As I'm sure our employee from the East End branch office would be the first to agree. Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gotta be used properly. Altamont Gas is the best in the world, of course. Okay, so he works for her. Gotcha. I think we may have solved the mystery of the bow from earlier, Mr. Naruhodo. Right. He bowed in deference to his employee's wife, did he? So, would I be right in assuming that the reason Mr. Metterman was watching what Mr. Shamspear was up to in his room? I'm afraid that there's no end to the lengths the population of the East End will go in order to steal our gas. So I really have no choice when the company identifies somebody as a possible fraudsman. But to dispatch a worker to watch the suspect day and night, we're very thorough in our investigations. So you mean Mr. Shamspear is... I wouldn't come out and say it in public. But you can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief. Oh. You have noticed the public gallery in here, have you? Oh, the eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. Faith wouldst thou wound me with thy words, were I to let them penetrate the skin. For seraphs hear not insults, only choirs of angels in song. We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around you until they find it. And when they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to your angelic heights in an Altamont gas explosion. So Mr. Shamspear has been stealing gas. I wonder, juror number 4, if you wouldn't mind adding that information to your statement. My pleasure. Was it the bit about ripping that thief apart you enjoyed? A little before the part about abject violence, if it's not too much trouble. Yes, of course. This could be it. This could shift the balance. Okay, let's just keep going with the pressuring on these guys. You keep talking about needing to take home some money. What's that all about, sir? Finish last, that's what it's about. Hold on, I need to blow my nose. Oh, God. Oh, all right, back.
What's that?
I'm talking about the Derby at Hyde Park, aren't I? It was the Queen's Cup last week, wasn't it?
Derby?
It was a dead cert, that's the thing. I couldn't lose, so I took my wife's secret savings like. But then, that hopeless old mare went and did the unthinkable. Ugh, that stupid finish, lass.
Oh dear, I think it's clear what happened, isn't it?
This is the day the missus uses her savings for a trip down the pub. So come on, let this business lie now. Just give it up.
No, that's not going to happen. Brother, he stole his wife's savings just to go play some fucking gambling at the races or at the Derby? Okay.
Hold it!
What do you mean? What do you really mean by that, sir?
Well, I'm not one to boast, but I get up at 5 every morning, I do.
At 5? You're a really early riser then, aren't you?
Huh? What's that now?
I said you're an early riser.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I like to while away the hours in the evening reading books as well. By about 2 in the morning, I'm usually too tired to go on.
He sleeps at 2 in the morning and gets up at 5? Oh my, that means he only has 3 hours of sleep each night.
Huh? What's that, dear?
Only 3 hours of sleep each night.
Oh, that's right. You see, 3 hours of missing time. Like I said. So how much is it?
This really isn't helping. Key to summation examination is identifying contradictions between juror statements, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, and once I find 2 jurors whose statements can't coexist, I need to pit those jurors against each other. Then hopefully when they see that what they're saying doesn't make sense, they'll change their leaning. Yes, and if you're able to change the minds of a majority of the jurors, the trial will continue. But conversely, if you're unable to do that, the judge will declare the trial over and move to adjudication. I can't let that happen. Somehow or other, I have to turn this trial around. Alright, so I think I know who we're pitting. So we're pitting him with her.
Objection!
There we go. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious. To statement to refer, counsel.
Juror number 1,
Eh? What are you yelling about, lad?
I presume you've heard juror number 4's statement, made by the wife of the owner of Altamont Gas.
Well, yes.
The victim, who you claim to be a noble, straight-up man, in fact turns out to be a common thief.
So the good lady says. There's no evidence, is there? You and I both heard them say as such.
It's true, we don't have evidence as such just yet. But the claims aren't baseless, you know.
What?
You heard me, seeing as his operation has already been compromised. I would suggest that the court hears testimony from our East End branch office employee over there.
I'll do whatever you say, my lady. Gasman's honor.
Juror number 1, you say you're a man of your word. If I could show that Mr. Shamspear was a liar, you assured me that you would reconsider your decision about the defendant's guilt.
Yeah, I did say that. As a man of honor, I'll hold to it, as I'm sure the other gentlemen of the jury will.
Me? Oh, well, yes. Now that we found out the man's a liar, perhaps we ought to... What? Oh, wow, okay. Ought to consider the matter further.
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I haven't heard half of what you've all been saying. If this means your recap of your points, then it should be down to the ground.
Oh no, I'm not having any part of this. I want this trial over and done with.
In that case, I shall change my leaning.
So, Mr. William Shamspear, that is your real name? We of the jury demand to know exactly what kind of man you really are.
Nice. Alright, so we did get all 4. Nice. Woo! The trial can continue. That's 4 jurors. 4 for not guilty. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Victory! Why are we over here? What the fuck? Okay.
Order! Order! Well, this is quite extraordinary, I must say. As a result of the defense's summation examination, the jurors' leanings has changed. Now, only 2 jurors say guilty, while 4 say not guilty. I therefore declare this court to be in a state of disaccord, and order the trial to continue.
Oh, I got work. Oh, you have spoiled the bouquet, Mr. Shamspeare.
Oh dear.
The ladies and gentlemen of the jury now find they are unable to trust you. You, the victim.
But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. So God amend me. I do swear. This gas man speaketh that which concerns him most, naught but gas, naught but thin air. Aye, it burneth bright a while, but it hath no substance, and it doth reek foul. Oi, what did you say? Do I take it, Mr. Shamspeare, that you deny the allegations of gas thievery? Most heartily, my lord. Hast thou forgot? I am as a seraph, an angel, noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily, honest of heart. You flattering mouth, pompous beanpole, just because I haven't got the evidence yet.
Mr. Shamspeare, if in fact you are not noble of mind, sweet of nature, or honest of heart, if you are a liar, then your testimony should have no sway in this courtroom.
It is my considered opinion that at the present time no other possible culprit of this crime has been identified. All testimony heard by the court thus far heavily implicates the defendant. In short, it would not be unreasonable at this stage for me to rule on the case.
Oh no.
However, in light of the fact that the jury has expressed concern about the fidelity of this witness, I believe it would be inappropriate for this court not to pursue the point further.
Objection!
That is blasphemy. I assure you, my lord, that would be a waste of the court's time. The gas and this case are unrelated.
Juror number 4.
Yes? Didn't you say before that although you had no hard evidence to prove this man has been stealing gas, you have strong grounds for suspecting him? That's right, we do. Don't we, worker?
Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gas man's honor. Very well then, we will hear your testimony now. You will tell the court precisely why you believe the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare, has been stealing gas. Yes, my lord. It'll be my pleasure. On the Altamont
If I may, my lord.
Go ahead, madam.
This worker's testimony may have a significant bearing on the good name of my husband's company. Therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside him in a supervisory role, if you wouldn't mind.
Wahoo! Oh yeah, sweet as honey. Yeah. Very well. As an exception, I shall honor your request.
Thank you, my lord.
You wait till the boss gives you an earful. Oh, it's gonna sting, you mark my words. So, you will both testify before the court on the subject of the illegal consumption of the Altamont Gas Company's fuel.
Yes. Is that clear, my good man?
Clear as Altamont gas, my lady, which is the clearest in the world.
Do you think the gas has gone to his head, Mr. Sato? I think the man is just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruhodo. He sure is. Alright, here we go.
I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money collection agent. Altamont gas meters accept penny bits, each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas.
And yet the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key.
Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. That's not thieving, what is?
Something tells me they might have gassed him. That's my theory.
Pray forgive the discourtesy. The irrelevance of this testimony caused me to turn to my hollow chalice. What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Zieks? Did the mustachioed Nipponese poison the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That is all that should concern this court, and yet now we must listen to this abhorrence. Clearly, what separates the vast British Empire and your eastern island nation is more than geographical distance.
But this could turn out to be a crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead. Fuck my fucking nose!
Do what you will.
Lord Van Zieks appears to be in a violent mood. Fucking A, mate! Yes, he does. An attempted poisoning and an incidence of gas theft with no supporting evidence. It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance. But I wonder, truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places. And the first step in uncovering it will be to establish just who and what this man really is. A fucking thief, that's what. Just imagine the guy in the background is like, oh, fucking blimey! Okay. So does that mean you enter people's houses in order to empty their gas meters?
That I do. I have to try to catch people when they're in, then I ask permission to come inside and do my business.
Does that mean you've been into Mr. Natsume's room before as well as that of Mr. Shamspear?
Well now, interesting you should bring that up, because I couldn't believe how little money was in his meter. I mean, how the pair of them survive the winter is beyond me, it really is.
Knowing Mr. Natsume, he probably spends all his gas money on books. And then when he's finished reading them, he probably burns them for warmth.
You will kindly reiterate your statement about the gas meters themselves, Mr. Meterman. Not much to say, really. As you wish.
So all London houses that have gas supply are fitted with these gas meters, are they? They're the latest model, the height of technology, developed by our company, Altamont Gas. And anyone who uses our gas will have one of these meters in their property, yes. So if a 3-pence coin gives 2 hours of gas, most people would use about 3 coins in a night?
A bit more than that, usually. If they have both gas lights and a gas stove, that is.
Thinking about it, Soseki-san doesn't have a fireplace in that room of his, does he? Some people still choose to use candles, of course, and only have gas for heating. Ah, yes, I do remember seeing candles in Mr. Natsume's room, actually. And how does the money in the meter get back to you at the gas company?
Every 3 days, a gas man like me visit properties on the gas supply and empty the meters of coin.
I must say, the design and manufacturer of the new meter cost the company an awful lot of money. But happily, it did put a stop to people not paying their dues for the most part. Ah, because they have to pay in advance, you mean? Yes, exactly right. Out of interest, how long has this been going on?
Weeks and weeks. He's been pinching gas off of us for ages. Did you examine the meter in Mr. Shamspear's room, I take it?
Naturally, we took it off the wall and went over it with a fine tooth comb.
And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume.
No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter to be produced. One with an indestructible lock. The Shamspear Special. That sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3-penny pieces. But even after all that, the rascal's meter was still empty.
I'll never forget the humiliation. When I opened up the money box and found it bare. You what? I said, you what? And the look on his face, that smarmy smile of his. I pulled the meter straight out the wall and took it back to the office. But you know what? Nothing. Not a trace of it being jemmied open anywhere, not a single sign. And what's happening to my salary as a result? Down by 3 shillings a day, that's what.
A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of that meter?
Nothing became of it. I've still got it.
Oh?
Right here.
No wonder they call you Meter Man.
I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing.
Okay. Definitely. Although, at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it.
Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony.
Though I would say has such much value as the contents of that meter.
Oof.
So let's check this, Wait. Oh, what's... Have you spotted something, Miss Naruhodo? Just here, there's a little hole. Do you see? Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed. It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I'd say. So you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shamspear? Possibly. It seems the people at Altamont Gas must have missed it. Oh, it certainly seems to go all the way through to the inside. Yeah, but there's no way a coin could fit through there. It's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious. This is where the coin goes, so why is there a hole? Alright, so I think this is where we present it.
Objection.
Lady Altamont, I'm afraid to say that this meter clearly does show signs of having been tampered with. What?
Get away! I've been over and over that thing. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it.
In that case, what do you have to say about the small hole that's been made at the base of the coin box?
Oh, what?
You're right. You're quite right. There is a little hole there. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do. In other words, we can assume that Mr. Shamspear secretly opened up this hole himself. Yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised. But why?
Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You couldn't get it farther through that.
Lady Altamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter design. What sort of detail? Well, what I'd specifically like to know is... Yeah, coins. How does the meter tell the difference between different coins? What do you mean? Well, for example, if someone were to put in a 1 penny coin, that wouldn't work presumably, would it? No, of course not. So, well, how does the meter know that the coin it's been fed is a through penny a bit? Ah, I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness. A through penny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit. Ah, I see. It's clearly been very well thought out.
The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent.
As you wish, my lord.
Hold it!
But conversely then, it would seem that anything matching a 3-pence coin exactly in terms of diameter and thickness could equally well be used. Would, that be true? Well, yes, in a way. The weight comes into it to a certain extent as well.
We thought of that though anyway. If I find any fake coins inside the coin box when I empty the meter, the contract says the customer has to pay 100 times the amount they diddled as a fine. We live for moments like that. Us gas men do. Live for them.
It would seem the gas company has thought of everything.
Wahoo! Hurrah for gas! Hurrah for cash! Altamont all the way!
That's quite enough of that. Remind me, how big are through penny bits? About 3/4 of an inch across. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Is this 2 centimeters measurement significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construct that we should be focusing on? Yeah, you may be right. Perhaps I should try a different tack here. Like asking about whether the meter can be dismantled, for example. How can the meter be dismantled? Dismantled? Yeah, given that there are no signs of it having been forced. I'm wondering if perhaps rather than being broken open, it might have been taken apart. Well, yes, that does make some sense. The padlocks are made by a first-class locksmith from the finest quality of steel. And the meter box itself is made from plate steel as well, welded shut to ensure it can't be opened again. I can assure you it's quite impossible to dismantle it.
Wahoo, yeah, nothing leaks from an Altamont meter. No coins, no gas, no nothing.
I see.
The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent.
As you wish, my lord. Just keeps getting one.
There's no way to dismantle it.
Has anyone ever tried?
Oh yeah, they've tried. They are all giving up before long.
After all, if they actually broke the meter, the company would be able to take legal action. Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Is its welded steel construction significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construction that we should be focusing on? Yeah, you may be right. Actually, it might be the... Hold on. What if it's these things that someone's been using as a bar of soap? Yeah, hold on. Oh, look at this bar of soap. There's a circular depression on the side about 2 centimeters across, or 3/4 of an inch. Ah, do you think... We did find this soap at the scene, didn't we? Yes, there were 2 bars on that little ledge just outside the window, so we took this one. I'm sure that one... Okay, so that's what happened. He took these bars of soap, cut out a perfect circular coin size for these meters, and then he put them outside so they can, freeze like they can harden themselves by the cold. He puts it into the coin, and for him to get it out, he probably like makes a hole so that it can melt through it or something. It's the only way I can see him doing it. There was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle there, I remember it clearly. Yeah, but there's no sign of it now. Where could I have gone? Okay.
Objection.
There we go. Let me just confirm something here. If the diameter and thickness were to be correct, the meter would accept any object as if it were a through penny bit. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Well, if by something of a coincidence while we were investigating in Mr. Shamspeare's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly. Something the same size as the through penny bit? What was it? The item in question is this.
What? Have you been inhaling gas? That's a bar of soap.
It certainly looks nothing like a through penny bit, I must say. It looks like I'm going to have to point out exactly what I mean here.
Got it.
You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean. Ah! Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there? That's right. A depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a through penny bit.
Get away. Does anyone here present have in their possession a through penny bit? Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it?
Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a through penny bit. Now to see if it fits. Oh, my word, it couldn't be more snug.
Yes, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company is being defrauded. Wow, I don't believe it.
So, your assertions amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has a tentative connection to the theft of gas?
Yes. The depression in the soap was clearly made by a through penny bit.
I must concur, at least, that pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of such as this is a remarkably simple way of replicating the coin's shape. And then you could use, well, some melted wax or something to pour into the mold. You can make fake coins in no time.
This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Shamspear has been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now, if I followed the chain of thoughts, it's going to bring me to a new explanation for what happened that nobody's considered yet. But this is all nonsense. If the man had been making fake coins, my worker here would have found them when he emptied the meter.
Quite true, Lady Altamont. In the absence of some black magic that could make them disappear. I see. That's what we're dealing with, is it? There is one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes.
Exactly. And the meter here gives it away. What on earth? There are remnants of the magical method used visible in the gas meter taken from the victim's room.
If that is your assertion, Counsel, the defendant would identify these remnants for the court at once. Where on the meter can the remnants of the method used to make the fake coins disappear to be seen?
He's talking about this, isn't he?
Got it!
We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime just outside the victim's window.
Outside?
Yes, outside, where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loitering in the freezing winter air. That's where we found the soap.
Ah, I get it.
That's right. The answer, of course, is ice.
Did you say ice?
Mr. Shamspear has been leaving soaps like this outside his window each evening, filling with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid the next morning.
Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth in spades. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter box melts,
turning back into water, and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made in the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas. Oh yeah, I didn't think about the water, which actually makes more sense, but yeah, that is actually ingenious. But what does this prove, though? Other than that he's a liar. Just like that. So simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us all with some bars of soap and some water. That's right, madam. I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless? I'm fairly sure I didn't design it. Evidence. What? Sorry? I want evidence. If you're gonna stand there and tell me our meters are rubbish, I want to see proof. She's very good at enforcing accountability, isn't she? Very well, Lady Altamont. If you like evidence, I'll provide it. What? Mr. Naruhodo, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support this theory? I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a while back. And I have a feeling that this theory would have come up with now... that this theory we've come up with now could explain it. Piece of evidence that substantiates the theory about how Mr. Shamster has been stealing gases. Oh yeah, it's right here. It's this fucking pool of water.
Take that!
This is a photograph of the scene at the point when the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. And it clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out by Mr. Shamspear. What's remnants? Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shamspear's room. Now, look closely at the floorboards directly underneath the meter. What? What is that? Some kind of grubby stain? Almost certainly. It's a water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter. Ah. If one coin gives around 2 hours of gas usage and the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours, we can imagine he would have used around 10 of his fake coins each day. The melting ice inside the meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor. This is awful. And there's further evidence, too. Mr. Shamspear slumped over his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. And right there next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half. You're right.
It would appear to me, then, Counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he?
Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but... certainly not. He didn't beat around the bush there, did he? In truth, Mr. Shamspear was found with a fork in his hand.
A meal of soap is sounding increasingly... Do you mean to say he was using that fork to...
Yes. To extract a frozen coin from the bar of soap. Oh. But the bar broke in half. So perhaps it didn't go very well.
Good gracious.
Fuck my nose! Why again? Lord Van Zee, fuck! Fuck you, man!
I was throwing my hand up in despair, and happened to catch my hollowed bottle on the way. Pray forgive my maladroit mistake. What is the meaning of this, Counsel? And stop throwing bottles. Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly did you establish with your most recent cross-examination?
Well... that Mr. William Shamspear is a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable. That's it. That's exactly it.
Very well. Let us assume the man is a liar. Now allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make?
Well,
we know that suicide can be discounted. Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no signs of other vessel that contained poison. And on the night in question, there were no visitors to the room except the accused. The young gas man's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, has confirmed that. Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. The court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise. Even if William Shamspear is the liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There's no escaping it. Therefore, in light of these facts, the prosecution calls for immediate adjudication.
you... What?
Order! Order! Well, Counsel, how does the defense respond?
Mr. Naruhodo,
my pride.
What was the point of that last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Van Zeeks is saying? Hold on. Hold on, one sec. Gotta blow my nose. The defense can wait. Hold on. Alright, I'm good. I'm gonna raise an objection. No, this isn't over. The defense will not rest.
What? But, counsel, you've successfully explained everything. You've identified and substantiated the scrupulous method employed by Mr. Shamspeare's gas thievery. What more is there to discuss?
Lord Van Zeeks just highlighted 3 facts in order to make this point. While contrary to what he would have the court to believe, not all of them have been objectively established at all.
What are you trying to say, my Nepalese friend?
At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption made due to a lack of evidence. But the situation has changed now, following the cross-examination of the latest witnesses to take the stand.
Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense?
Yeah, when you bring everything we've learned so far together and consider it as a whole, it's clear. There's a question that we now need to reconsider, namely, was there another visitor? No, there couldn't have been another visitor. Was the poison in the tea? So it's either was someone else responsible or was the poison in the tea? Well, there's nowhere else the poison could have been other than the tea. So then it must have been someone else that's responsible. What if it was somebody else entirely who poisoned the victim?
If that's your assertion, by all means, tell us who it was.
Yes, well...
Well, who was this mysterious third party? Counsel?
Oh, shit, I made a mistake. I think it's a little too soon to be naming names, my lord.
Oh, the contrary. It's a little too late. Much like your defense.
Mr. Shamspeare is trying to make more ice coins in the night. Oh, then it has to be the tea. Yeah, the poison was somewhere else. We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspeare was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume, but that's conjecture at best.
Objection!
The victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There's no other possibility. And since there was no trace of the tea left at the scene, it couldn't be tested for traces of the poison.
As I said, the situation has changed. One sec. There we go. Because in fact, some of the Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene. And a particular piece of evidence proves it.
Objection!
A ludicrous claim. Scotland Yard detectives investigate the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed?
The defense has made a bold claim indeed.
Very well, counsel. Present your proof. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea?
Well, it has to be the teacup, right?
Take that!
Oh dear. Shit. I'm gonna have to save cheat. Okay, alright. Ugh, Sometimes I wish I could disappear down a deep chasm to escape his dark sarcasm. What evidence? Uh. Uh. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea? There's no stain on here.
Take that!
Oh, no. Oh, alright. So we gotta go back. We gotta go back in time. Okay, so... It's not these two, so what the hell? I guess the bar of soap?
Take that!
Good gracious. The soap again? The same bar the victim used to fashion his coins of ice?
Yes, that's right, my lord. It's just come back to me. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on the ledge outside the window? I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. You discovered the gas thief's coin factory. Fascinating. In a way, yes, but there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice.
There was something strange about them, you mean?
Exactly, something very obviously strange. They were red.
The ice was red?
No, you mean... That's right. It's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea. Oh my god!
What?
I would remind the court of a statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in this trial. That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shams's room, as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never.
Ah, yes, I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains in the east end are prone to freezing.
So on the night in question, Mr. Shamspear, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins.
My word!
There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene. That's right, and we only borrowed one of them. Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime. Frozen solid in the bar of soap outside Mr. Shamspear's window.
Extraordinary!
Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that if we even had 1 drop of the tea remain, Scotland Yard would be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove or disapprove what has, until now, been mere conjecture. by finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contains strychnine at all.
You smug Nipponese.
My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bars of soap from the scene at once, and the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it to determine whether or not it contains any poison.
Bailiff! Bailiff! Instruct the police to attend this scene at once.
Yes, my lord, understood.
It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. I trust you have no objection, Lord Van Zix.
None, my lord.
Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out the requisite tests immediately. The trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow. The prosecution and defense may conduct further investigation as appropriate in the interim.
Yes, my lord. Well, we managed to scrape through there somehow.
Thank you, consuls. Court is adjourned until tomorrow.
Oh, nice. We gotta adjourn till tomorrow.
Alright, to be continued.
Awesome. Well, we did it. We finished that part. So we've proven that Mr. Shamspear was in fact exploiting that he was exploiting the machine or the meter by using fucking water or any liquids to freeze into perfectly shaped pennies so that he could get gas. And also we've discovered the fact that he also used the tea to also try to make more coins. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here for now. In about like a couple hours from now, we will be hosting a World Ablaze MP game, so I will be streaming that as well. And then I'll probably be the end of the night or day. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye.